in the back over there. Yes, obviously Hydras are slightly stronger, but they're so much more expensive. But I really feel like it was redundant. Force Fields basically still segment your army. If not, they segment it easier because you have to deal with Zerglings. And Colossus are the counter to both of those. I think.
Well, okay. I understand where you're coming from, Andre. And to be fair, I won a lot of PvZ like that back in the day, so I'm guilty of that same attack move roll, steamroll. The correct term I feel is face roll, where literally you could just you can attack, pop Guardian Shield, and just slam your nose into the keyboard and just roll to the left and roll to the right. That's what we call face roll.
Standard Protoss.
But since then, actually, I know people are going to be like, a lot of Protoss players are like, what? You know, but a lot of things have changed since then. War Prism has come into play. Yeah. Immortal Micro has come into play a little bit, and people are starting to utilize Blink a lot better, but still.
I'm just thinking, because in StarCraft Brood War, Protoss was that not the same way, but people would be like, oh, all you have to do is 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and it would be like really fast that we have to do that, but everybody like, that takes no skill at all. Now it's just like 1A, and you go. So it's just funny. I just found that amusing.
Well, it's funny because the argument was made for Zerg as well. Like, all they had to do was make roaches in 1A. So, and then people like argue about like Terran as well. Just make Marines in 1A. Just at one point, everyone's got complaint about each race, and that's what makes it kind of funny.
Anyway, we're on Metropolis, one of the largest maps in existence.
Well, I think Terminus is bigger. I think Atlantis is bigger, actually. Atlantis
is huge. It is huge. But
Atlantis is the big brother of Metropolis.
Yeah. The good thing about Metropolis is it's actually a good map.
Oh man, Atlantis is an awful map. It's just I feel like it really is good for Zerg.
You know what?
Really good for Protoss.
The only thing I like about Atlantis, which is the only thing I hate about Atlantis, is that triple gas, and it actually. Yeah, it makes you rethink about the matchup, like, and priorities.
Oh, Andre, we know how much you love
and
gas.
I love my gas, bro.
Man.
No, it really does. It makes you rethink about the game and priorities, and the fact that, you know, the timings in which you get that expansion or the pushes in which you deny that expansion become a lot more important. So all of the players have to have these builds incorporated into regular standard play, because you can also go into 3-base. I'm talking way too much about Atlantis space.
Yeah, but one thing that's kind of the same kind of principle is that on Atlantis, in PvZ, Stargate is really good just because of how you're able to traverse the map, especially when you start using Phoenixes in mid-game to get a sense of what Zerg is doing. And same thing with Metropolis. Stargate's really good, but so are Immortals and War Prisms as well. You can kind of sneak in over the ledges because there's lots of surface area that connects your base, and there's just ways to really kind of abuse that mobility considering how much dead airspace also on the map. And that's kind of been the complaint for a while. Metropolis is like, oh, it's just 2-base Immortal all-ins kind of thing. But at the same time, Arthur, I feel like he just plays really solid form of PvZ. He doesn't necessarily have to 2-base all-in. He just kind of does mini aggression, gets advantages, and from there just macros up and pushes. So that's kind of been the story of his run so far.
On Metropolis, I don't even mind making it look like you're going to do some sort of pressure and just take your 3rd base, knowing that, hey, I have... Well, what you effectively do is... get all these Immortals out, right? Maybe 2, 3 Immortals. You get sentries, but all your investment should go into upgrades directly after that. And what ends up happening is Zerg realize, hey, that's an Immortal count. I have to be careful. And they make a ton of Zerglings and Roaches. And then you take your 3rd base, and they're in a position. What do they do with all these Zerglings and Roaches now? Right? Do they kind of have to attack because it's wasted investment if they want to go into economy directly after that. But if they attack, they're going into sentries and Immortals. It's the most beautiful thing ever for Protoss. And there have been ways to actually go around that. PvZ has been a lot of like trying to do that as Protoss. And Zergs have been trying to stay on Zerglings as much as possible. That way they can allocate their gas to more important things like Infestors or even Muta-switches, which have become a lot more prevalent in this matchup.
Well, we do see the Stargate from our Protoss player. Arthur positioned it right outside of his natural in the corner, but the Overlord is moving straight towards it, so very convenient. Very good Overlord scouting with Dark this entire series thus far. And he's going to gas accordingly, triple gassing at one point. So I guess at this stage, Dark has all the information he wants, and he can only really blame himself if this does a lot of damage.
But this is the same thing that happened last game, right?
Right, he's got exactly. I mean, he sent his Overlord into main as well, and he sees no extra gateways. But, I mean, based off this timing, this is like the quickest Stargate you could possibly get. There's only one sentry as well, so he's preparing a defense just in case. But I guess where do you go from here if you're Dark? I mean, do you just plant spores and you just keep droning? You have to be really cautious. But last time he did a lot of damage because he wasn't really controlling his queens that well.
Yeah, I like to do queen spore. I think it's the more efficient route. If you have to go Hydras, it puts you pretty far behind.
And that's what the Protoss wants anyways.
Yeah.
They want you. I mean,
they want you to go
you see the
Hydras.
Robo. He wants you to go.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Robo gives you the ability to get Colossus. Colossus is obviously very, very powerful.
Like in part of the Swarm. Yes, give Hydras a speed. Give the illusion Zergs want to go Hydras. It's like, yes. Oh, by all means, please go Hydras.
I swear, that's what's going to happen. Everybody from the beginning is like, oh man, Hydras is so good. And then like the absolute standard Sentry, Stalker, Colossus pops in and you get steamrolled. And it's like oh. Man, Hydras still are so frustrating. That's what's going to happen, man. The first first Phoenix out. Now 2 Phoenixes are out. Phoenix is a little bit more intelligent, I would say. Of course, they have the ability to be a lot faster than Void Rays, but jet in there, do enough damage, kill some queens, and then you're fine. So I like where we are right now. It feels like there's absolutely zero reaction to this incoming Stargate play.
Yeah, but at the same time, it just seems like Arthur just plays, like, even if this Stargate doesn't work, he's already planning his 3-base inevitable push. You know, it just seems like he's not going to be aggressive unless he sees an opening. And same thing with Dark. Dark's just kind of playing this really passive systematically.
Oh, there's going to be a drop creep in this top middle. I'm like, what is that drone doing?
Oh, the drone doing?
I'm like, what can he possibly be doing?
That'd be kind of cool if he does that. But you see, meanwhile, pressure at the 3rd base, and Protoss really wants to hold on to this, but the Zealot Warpins not really working out. In fact, the fact that the Zealots are warping in right there gives Zerglings an extra helping hand in terms of DPS. And Dark's targeting down the Nexus, going to try to race the Zealots in terms of DPSing down, and Zerglings can kind of run away and kite the Zealots in terms of running around and attacking the Nexus. But he backs off for now. And wow, he's going to hide the Spire. Very Nest-T-like. The Phoenixes are also harassing the main. This is kind of cool. We were talking about switching into Mutas, and Mutas are phenomenal. Actually, here we go. Mr. Bitter has an incredible strategy on Metropolis. If you ever play him on ladder, don't let him take the island. Because he goes Mutas, he base trades, and then he takes the island. And then Protoss has no way to really deal if you target down the Robo and the Cybernetic Spore. They have literally no way because they can't blink into the islands. And then you just base trade and you just win.
Yep. That's why if you're playing against Mr. Bitter on Metropolis, go double Stargate every single game. I just made Mr. Bitter the most angry he's been. Now he'll never play against any random on Metropolis.
He knows Metropolis. Yeah. Like, I once liked this map. I remember Gretorp. He used to be my friend until he revealed my build on Metropolis.
If I ever play him on Metropolis, I'll just blind double Stargate every single game so he can't do that. I don't care if I lose. It's just I don't want to give him that satisfaction.
The cool thing is, even if you do these kind of Mutas switches, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything, but it catches Protoss off guard because they're so heavily invested into the Colossus. You know, you can see 4 Phoenixes, 1 Stalker, and 4 Sentries. That kind of anti-air will crumble under 18 Mutas that are on the way.
Oh my god!
18.
Look at all these eggs, man. That is an alarming amount of units. We have Blink just starting. Look at this. Extended Thermal Lance is being upgraded. 3 Colossus on the way. This is all stuff that will not deal with the Mutas. A lot of investment going into this. And look at this. The Mutas are going to be all congregated, and now they're pushing forward. Do we have any upgrades coming from the Spire? Not yet. Come on.
+1 weapons.
There it is. Okay, finally it comes up. But now the Phoenixes see the Mutas.
And he's like, well, I am horribly unprepared for this. 6 Stalkers are warping in.
Yes.
And, I mean, even if he has 6 Stalkers, he doesn't have Blink finished yet for quite some time, giving the mobility advantage. Oh, there's a lot of free sentries, but I guess Dark just wanted to bait the force fields. Oh, and he sees the Colossus barely protected with just a few units as well. Now, the Phoenixes are great if you can keep their range and kite the Mutas, but with that many Mutas, it's just going to be really difficult, and he's adding more. Ooh, look at this. A 2nd Stargate as well as a Fleet Beacon added on. And Dark's going to take this matter very seriously, and he's getting +1 air weapons. And
he's going to get the upgrade for it.
He's going to get Anion Crystal Pulse, right? That's how you pronounce it?
I believe so.
The anion crystal poses. I
And-
first thought it was called the onion crystal post, and I was like, well, that sounds really
Sounds like
lame.
the anion.
But you can see that at this point, Protoss is just relegated to play really safe. He can't move out. If he does, he loses everything back at home and has to make the push work. And
Oh
so
my god, this
we'll
is
see.
so
We'll
many
see how
meters.
much damage Dark's able to really do at this point.
But only 27 meters against 6 Phoenixes, not going to be that much. Look at how much harass he's doing. Just attacking in, pulling out, attacking in, pulling out, killing an entire gateway already. He really wants to kill the third base, though.
Whoa, he's making a lot of banelings. He's going to try to crash directly into the base and snipe a huge portion of the Protoss economy.
Ooh, and he's going to actually do a little bit of harass into the main base as well. Can he actually get anything done? The Phoenixes are giving chase a little bit, and you can see how effective those Phoenixes are.
Yeah,
is it going to be enough?
I mean, he's drawing attention away from the third, and that's where he wants to go. All the focus, the Banelings and Zerglings are moving in now. There's a few Zealots and a couple of cannons, but the Mutas are also distracting the main. So Arthur has to make a decision right now whether or not he's going to protect his main. He's not. The Mutas are going to destroy all of the probes in the main. The Banelings are crashing directly into the third cannons. But
Oh my god.
the purpose has been served, and the Phoenixes are directly engaging the Mutalisks, which is not what you want to do.
Arthur didn't know what to actually focus on.
He lost so much of his probes. 31 workers have been killed, and more Zerglings are running straight to the third, forcing the cancel on the cannons as well. And the Stalkers are engaging straight up against the Mutas. Now, the Mutas do have +1, but they don't have any armor, so it's to be really cautious. +2 Stalkers do surprising well. Guardian Shields protecting the Phoenixes. Very nicely done. And you can see that Arthur's trying to do the best he can, but his economy is hurting, as he's now down to just 49 probes.
But 23 meters are, oh my god, 12 more in production. Are you kidding me? 12 more? That is so substantial. But look, those Phoenixes, they have 6 range.
6 range against the 3 range of the Mutalisks is going to be very comfortable indeed.
I love these battles. They're actually the funniest battles in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because it gets to the point where you can't overstep your bounds once because you get punished so heavily. You lose a lot of Mutas or you lose a lot of Phoenixes, one or the other.
We'll see. We'll see. Zerglings and Banelings going ahead and congregating again over in the left, or the top middle side, left of his base. The Mutas are, of course, going into the main. And watch these Phoenixes. They're going to do so much damage.
Whoa.
And the Mutas can't keep up.
Look
He
at
needs
the
corruptors.
Mutas.
He needs corruptors if he wants to engage against these Phoenixes. Look at how many Phoenix. Now they're actually on the warpath. They're going all the way down into his opponent's base. And an Infestor switch would be perfect, which 4 Infestors are on the way out right now.
If he lands the Fungals, Andre, it'll be a massive win, but he's trying to get the Spine Crawlers up in time. Is he going to have enough time to really go for it? Well, he's sending his probes in. I guess this is his version of an all-in, just sending the probes for the buffering to buffer some of the damage. You can see that he's just gonna base trade. That's what he's wanting to do. The Stalkers are trying to run back to the third, but that's not gonna do much good. And, oh man, what if he's able to kill almost everything and just able to whittle down? The army supply is not that big for Protoss, considering that he doesn't have a lot of supply, but there's no real contention back at the Zerg base.
He does have 400 minerals, though. That's just enough to make a Nexus, of course. And that'll be very valuable. We'll see. This is going to be a crazy freaking base trace.
Wow.
Phoenixes and Mutas are trading in the middle of the map. But, you know, those Phoenixes actually do so much. They're actually able to keep the Mutas off from really doing any damage to that main base.
Yeah,
and
not
those
the
Phoenixes,
Zerglings, though.
they're going to, yeah, that's true. But these Phoenixes are just going to constantly track these Mutas and try to play the kiting game. Of course, the Mutas have to just dodge everything for now.
Wow, yeah, I'm so...
Oh, nice fungal!
Oh, he catches all the Phoenix. I didn't even see that. Yeah, that's huge fungal. He manages to snipe a lot of the Phoenixes, but the Mutas are taking heavy damage. Spine Crawlers also adding DPS. The Stalkers playing forward, sniping a huge amount of Mutalisks. Now, a lot of supply still exists, but a lot of it is in production, and it's all Zerglings, which is very... I want to say it's very flimsy supply because they just melt completely to the Protoss army. And now Arthur's just cleaning up exterior bases, and you can see the Zerglings are effectively trying to base trade. And I feel so silly because, of course, you bring probes because you need to be able to plant down buildings to base trade. And where are all the probes, though? Wait, there are no probes. All the probes have died.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There are no probes. Oh, it is simply going to be a race against time. And now he's being revealed. And all of a sudden, Dark has a big opportunity. He's pulling all his drones as well to try to make bases around the map. He's got enough for one hatchery, but he may just dedicate everything to snipe bases, and it's going to come down to the last few buildings. Andre, the Protoss army trying to eliminate every single possibility to make units, but a couple infestors are currently in production. Where are they making, Andre? They are making at the bottom right base. He's going to try to protect the ramp. If you can protect the ramp and kill all these buildings, who knows what can happen? It's coming down to the last few seconds. Every unit matters.
Yes, and he can. That's correct. He shouldn't actually be defending this area. Just start popping up extractors all over the place, really trying to eliminate your opponent. And I like what we're seeing, but oh man, I think it's so hard to tell right now, Frodan. I really feel like Arthur is still ahead just because he has the better army, but it's so difficult to actually say one way or another.
I mean, Dark's gonna try to run in and snipe some more buildings, but
oh,
as long as he leaves it up.
Caught in the middle of the map, and they don't have any. Nobody has energy.
No, one Phoenix has enough energy. As long as he has it, he can snipe both of them. That is a huge pick-off indeed for a Protoss player now. I mean, Dark's not even mining from his base in the bottom right. He's kind of just, I guess all of his drones are on strike. It's one of these things where the drones probably think the game's over, but the idea is that at this point, Dark is killing everything he possibly can. Oh, he's trapping the army in the bottom right, trying to use his Infested Terrans to be able to do anything, splitting the Infested Terrans to avoid the Colossus AoE, trying to deal with the Phoenixes. The last few buildings are also under attack, and these are I mean, he needs to protect these buildings with his life. He cannot afford to lose a single one at this point. And Arthur is still under attack. He's killing everything back in the original main, dealing with the Hive. The only tech building really left for Slayer Dark is his Spire, so he can remake Mutas, but he really can't make anything else. He does have supply room. Protoss he can't really make a single darn thing. He's got resources, but he can't utilize his Stargate until some of his units die. But I don't see his units dying anytime soon. This is such an odd game, and it's game number 2, and it's so important for Slayer Dark because he's down 0-1. He needs to win this game, Andre. Going down 0-2 is so hard in the best of 5.
Oh, absolutely. And now he's set for this top middle base, and honestly, I don't see any way of Arthur losing this. I mean, yes, another round of infestors. Okay, this might actually do something. He should dedicate a fungal down the Colossus. No, he doesn't even need it.
Straight into it. The Infested Terrans are now going to race directly against these units, and all of a sudden, Arthur senses that he needs to go back immediately. The Infested Terrans have great DPS, but he needs to be able to at least save these Infestors. Those are his last chance. The Phoenixes are dropping so quickly as well, and now more Infested Terrans are dropping, trying to race and attack the buildings, but it's not going to be enough. He doesn't have enough DPS.
It won't. It's unfortunate, but look at this. A spawning pool is going to start up over here in the bottom middle. But that top is going to get destroyed.
Imagine, Andre. Imagine if he has a base in the island. Then this is exactly what this is exactly what Mr. Bitter would love.
I know. Oh my God, Bitter! You should have won this game. GG.
Oh, GG. And after a very long, it was a 25-minute game, but that game was, I mean, it was like the ending should have been decided like 5-10 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
that was absolutely so sick. Arthur. You know what could have actually won? Who is it? Dark the game? Burrow.
Yeah,
if he had there was no observers.
There's no observers.
Remember, he was supply cap, no pylons on the map. If he had Burrow, he would have kept all of his infestors alive. He would have terrorized that whole base.
Yeah, energy would have been trading cost efficiently as long as he fungals and gets rid of the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes were so good. They picked off 6-7 infestors. Imagine if he was able to pour everything. And even Burrow, because then you could go from the high ground, unleash a bunch of Infested Terrans. You probably think he's by the the main and try to do some weird stuff. And then you get like this weird awkward moment where the Colossus attacks his own unit to kill Burrow. It would have been really cool.
Well,
really cool.
What's going to happen is he doesn't want to send out too many units out in the field.
Yep.
But if you do that, the burrowed infestors can just track all those units down and kill them.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So there's like, So there's so
you can't
many
do anything
because
you see the shadow underneath, and you're just like, whoa.
Oh my God.
So
anyway, 2-0 up for Arthur, who's really making a name for himself, I think, right here. We're gonna go into game number 3 in the finals for the NSQ for season number 4. Stay tuned, everybody. When we come back, game number 3, don't go anywhere. I'm repeating myself.